Real-time strategy games are among my favorite genres. They are also dramatically underserved in VR. Despite notable PC VR iterations of the genre, like the outstanding Brass Tactics or the quite good Air Mech Command, not to mention the amazing MOBA-infused offers like Final Assault, standalone has seen very little in the genre. Don't get me wrong, the Quest does have a few contenders. Games like Eternal Starlight, Battlegroup VR, or even Gods of Gravity all have their place, but overall, they seem to get a little lost in space. So when a new addition to the genre is announced, particularly one from a well-established pancake franchise, I sit down and take note. So travel with me now, dear viewer, into the inky void, and let's see if developers Farbridge have given us what we so richly deserve, or if we'll end up floating rather aimlessly amongst the stars. For those familiar with the source material, Vast Reaches slots neatly into the period between the events of the first two Homeworld games. In this installment, you are tasked with leading a fleet during a crucial time after the Kushan reclaim their homeworld. I don't know if that's how you say that name. Kushan.
Levels are critical.
Cool. With the original hero guiding you and the classic mothership at your command, you are set about defending yourself from a race of sneaky traders after your hypercore. The plot is well delivered through cutscenes and in-game dialogue, bridging the two titles and adding a new layer of threat. Like many RTS games, Homeworld Vast Reaches has you commanding various units, each with its strategic strengths and weaknesses. As expected, you will also dedicate mental energy to resource collection, which in this case means harvesting asteroids for something.
Locked on target.
There is no base building or upgrade pathway to manage, so there is limited depth on offer compared to more traditional RTS games. Vast Reaches simply gives players a set of prescribed skirmishes to complete within a specific resource limit, be it time or otherwise. Once that objective is complete, you move on to the next. This resource management element effectively acts as a set of guide rails through each mission in a way that feels comforting at first but ultimately becomes frustratingly linear. Each level sees you begin with access to what feels like just enough resources to move on to the next section, whereby you are delivered a similarly adequate number of asteroids to move on again. In fact, most of the times that I had to replay a level, it was not because my fleet was defeated in battle, but because I accidentally used all my resources on assault units and didn't save enough money to buy whatever specific craft was necessary to finish the objective. While it was a mild annoyance at the time, with the hindsight of having finished the game, it's actually a significant design flaw that robs the game of any incentive to come back and try again. What Vast Reaches does well is how it puts you in control of the fleet. The controls are easy and intuitive, making navigating your ships through a multi-fronted space battle an enjoyable experience. Players can assign units to form battle groups, which can then be commanded to move together. Ships can be moved easily from one group to another to reinforce after sustaining heavy losses, or provide an additional ship type that may swing the balance of a skirmish. Lifting up your palm allows you to select the battle group you wish to command. From there, dragging a path through the heavens or pointing at a target will send them on their way. One of the major design constraints of playing an RTS in VR lies in the challenges of giving players control over a range of troops with much fewer buttons than most other gaming platforms, and Vast Reaches achieves this admirably. Similarly, moving through space uses the control conceits that have become standard for tabletop games of this ilk. A combination of gestures and the grab buttons will scale, rotate, and move you through the world as expected, capitalizing on techniques perfected in games such as Demio. As you progress through the game, more advanced ships become available for the fleet you command. Some of these ships have special abilities that need to be manually activated and have a cooldown, and I had a lot of fun with these mechanics once they came into play later in the game. At this point, the gameplay ceased to merely be a matter of paper-scissors-rock style unit selection, and suddenly switching between battle groups to activate ion blasts and defensive shields, and then deploying engineering craft to repair damage to frigates became an engaging cognitive dance. Balancing the requirements of 5 battle groups while micromanaging their specific tactical advantages was a truly excellent experience, and it made me pine deeply for more iterations of this genre. Sadly, the game's short length saw an end to this enjoyment all too soon, with the campaign finishing just a few levels after the gameplay finally reached a level of complexity that made it actually feel worthwhile. With no skirmish mode, ship upgrades, or in fact any other options other than to replay again on a harder difficulty level, Homeworld Vast Reaches turned all too quickly from an enjoyable exercise in exponential potential growth to a short, sharp punch in the disappointment gland.
Attack command confirmed.
In terms of graphics and sound, Homeworld Vast Reaches falls into the same cavernous trap that most space-themed RTS games do. With a battlefield that stretches through an inky, empty void, there is very little to make the playable environments interesting. While there are planets and swirling gases looming in the background, the actual gameplay occurs in what is essentially empty space set against a cosmic backdrop. Despite all the ships having decent amount of detail, the scale at which you actually command your fleet is so vast that you seldom actually see them up close. The best tactical vantage point reduces your highly detailed ships into tiny little dots that you command around an uninteresting patch of empty in a way that robs the physical world of any resonance with the actual gameplay. I ended up deliberately playing the game at a scale that made it more difficult to make clear tactical decisions just so that I could feel connected to the world, and that was a compromise which overall detracted from the experience.
Acknowledged.
There is a mixed reality mode, but it offers nothing new, other than changing the background to your actual space, making it more difficult to find and control your ships. The voice acting that links the missions is good and goes a long way to filling the emptiness of space with some much-needed character and connection. In fact, the sound design overall is well delivered, but as with the graphics, it suffers at the hands of its own subject matter. Despite a good array of zaps and booms and whooshes, that was fun, ultimately, the sound fails to fill the space with a sense of gravity that creates any kind of rich or rewarding sense of tension. Homeworld Vast Reaches does a wonderful job of demonstrating how satisfying a well-polished and well-thought-out RTS game could be in VR. With excellent controls that immerse the player into the challenge of simultaneously managing a fleet and micromanaging a battle group, Farbridge has displayed a lot of potential. Sadly, an undercooked resource system, short campaign, and complete lack of options means that Vast Reaches falls well short of living up to what it could have been. 6.5. Almost.
Strike Group Alpha, proceeding to target.
If you enjoy the channel and would like to stay up to date with news and reviews, click the like button now.
Sorry, Omar, I can't do this today. Fuck.
One of the major design
Not able to withstand attack for much longer.
Strike Group Alpha, under fire, riding it out. Strike Group Alpha, attack order confirmed. Strike Group Alpha, proceeding to target.
Assault frigate can't survive many more hits like that.
Defense field fully operational. Target.
Bentuzi ship critically damaged, hull integrity lost. Repeat, the Bentuzi are lost.